I am very excited, guys, to interview this amazing man. His name is Lii Tofa, Samoan descent, born in California, but currently resides in Utah. He is a scriptwriter, a music producer, co-partner in ManuScript films, which we talk about soon. He wrote and finished a script in 3 days and just magically turned it into a movie. We're going to find out how Sosefina came to life. And it's about two Polynesian females facing adversity. And what I wanted Lee to share is maybe something about your own personal adversity and what was the inspiration for Sosefina? Just very curious about that.
Thank you, first of all, Karen, for inviting me to your show, and I'm thankful to be here today to talk about, sharing my story about the Sosefina movie. Uh, Man, it's been an honor and a privilege to been on this journey and just meeting so many people and sharing our stories. So, anyways, yeah, that 3 days of writing the script, it did take a lot of energy and effort to do it as a team. Um, it started way back then where we used to do music. We started off, ManuScript Island Records, and we had various artists. I was a producer. Manu's the engineer and slash, CEO. Lenny as well as the PR and promoter and whatnot, as well as the team and Hinano as well. She's the CEO as well. So all pretty much, it was all of us working together doing music. Uh, One day we just, we had to shut the studio down for many reasons, for, the artists, financially, and it just didn't work out. So it was, I would say, the year probably 2014-ish, somewhere around there. Uh, we decided to shut the studio down, and we felt defeated and we felt hurt. There was nobody out there to help us out and whatnot. We decided to go and grab something to eat, just to ease our minds off of things and just to take a little stress off. And then as we were there ordering our food, we sat out there. It was a nice day and all. No talk. Nobody wasn't talking at all. We just waited for the food and just kind of like looking around, looking at our phone, and just doing our thing, just being ourselves until the food came. So when we got the food, out of nowhere, Manu is the one that said it. He's like, "Hey, what do you guys feel about doing the films?" We just kind of like look at each other's like, you know what, this is not a bad idea, because we were thinking about something else, like what is the next move? What can we do after this? Because you know these guys have families and I don't, and I'm trying to figure it out what we're going to do next. Are we going to be splitting up, or we're going to do this? Or we just like, man, you know what? Let's give it a try. Let's just do it. What do we've got to lose? Why not just do this? So then the first day after that studio shut down, me and Lenny and Manu, we just went to the library, to the YouTube, Google, just to get some ideas and get some, all the resources that we need to figure out how do we do the first step. The first step is a script. So there you go. We started the script, and then the rest of the 2 days finished. We called each other back. Hey, I got it. Yeah, you guys got it. Okay, cool. All right. So Safina's born.
Wow. So were you guys writing together separately? I mean, how did the
Yeah,
ideas?
yeah.
Huh.
Lenny would do his time, in his own time as well. Uh, I would too. But I was also in the library with Manu, and I think I mentioned this a couple of times about it. We were in the library, and he had his kids too. So they're reading their books and doing their homework, and they were young at the time, and we were just reading books to try to figure out how to get the script writing. He came back, he was walking back from the aisle, and he just showed me this book. He would just show it right to me, and I'm like, "What is that?" And it said, "It's a script writing for dummies." So
Oh my
yeah, no, it's true. It's true. And then I looked around, and there was a lot of people in there too. There's some adults there too, and then they're doing their thing and reading books. When I like, man, look, I don't care who's looking or whatever. Just check out the book. Let's look at it. Read a couple times on it and got some ideas, and just went on from there.
Those are good books. I
Yes,
remember we
yeah,
did dummies for like learning Japanese or dummies for just anything, right? Anything.
mhm.
You can
Yeah.
learn a lot because it just helps you brainstorm. So how did the plot? Well, how do you guys dream up
The-
that? Because that's an amazing plot that came up.
yeah. So,
Can
so
you
the whole,
describe like what is the like if you looked up like a few sentences on I looked it up. How would you describe it to someone who's never heard of it?
the story. I mean, geez, what like, so we were trying to figure out what kind of stories in the plot want to what's come out with, right? And he had experience of like his story, that what he has gone through, it's based off of experiences. And so Manu, I don't know if I should share this with because Nano mentioned this about it too. So basically, have met someone at the age of 16. Uh, he was at a strip club and whatnot, and so at a young age, just looking at that, he's seen another female that was happened to be someone, a Polynesian. And so she's looking at him like, what is this? What's he doing here? They're both looking at each other like, what is this? She's old and he's young, and but anyways, that's the pretty much how we got the story, and then just started writing off from there. And then we just, it's inspired by a true story, and she's telling his story about what she has gone through, and then we just pretty much went on from there. How we deal with the
Wow, is that
stages,
amazing
and
though that it's like a almost it's based on real life. I think that makes the
yeah,
best films when it's based on a true story, and then
yeah,
you just add in your own your own secret ingredients. So do
yeah.
you think it your own personal adversities helped you with your writing too? Did you reflect and sometimes, access that inner part, that pain or whatever you personally experienced?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, most definitely. So all that with the of course, with the his experience and with our experiences, uh it does relate to it, because not only we have to be Polynesians, but it personally what we deal with is the everyday life. So yeah, there's a lot of pain in it, and then there's of course an anxiety and depression, because it leads to a lot of uh things to it. What a person goes through a lot by dealing with families, and when you lose somebody, it can really hurt you, grieving, and you're trying to figure out how to, cope with these problems, you know what I mean? And for the ones that have never gone through it, they wouldn't understand it yet. So that's why we have to write something that relates to everybody. And then when it does come to the time for them, they will understand it. You say, this is what we mean, you know what I mean? Because it can lead to a lot of things, to suicides, you know, to deep depression, where the person can be lost and not be loved, or you know not to be in a way of helped, to get helped, you know what I mean?
Well, I
So
think a lot of people don't read. I mean, there's people who read, and I think a film, when you see the visuals and you're almost like you go into the story, right? So I love how you just mentioned like people don't know how to grieve. People have lost, you and I just mentioned so many people, family, friends, unexpectedly. Is there something that you learned that helped you with your grief while, doing Sosefina and maybe your own personal maybe insight on like how did you deal with grief and depression and anxiety? Because we all have
um,
some of it, you know.
yeah, I I I definitely learned a lot from that. And it's not a good feeling, but at the same time, it's okay, because uh I think it's all right to go through that, because everybody's going to have a time in their life. Like I said, if they have not relate to it, they wouldn't understand it until that time comes for them. Because a lot of people are going to say, you're okay, this and that. It's like, yeah, thank you, but really I'm not. But I am
You're not.
okay as at the same time, but I have learned a lot what death is, because feeling that, it does bring you down a lot, and it can bring your energy down, and it makes you feel like you don't want to even do anything. You don't want to even want to pursue nothing. But now that you kind of like think about yourself, like, what am I going to do next? Because I think about so many times, like, I have lost a lot of loved ones. So how are you going to, you know, project to the world that you're saying that you're going to do better with music, with the script writing and all that. So that one, what I learned a lot is to stay active. And first of all, you're alive.
Hmm.
So you're doing something. You got a life to live. So that's one of those things that
So
I
like
have to.
gratitude and
Yes,
maybe giving yourself
yes,
permission, like you said, like when people, oh, you're
yeah,
okay, you'll heal. But sometimes you just have to feel sad and just feel it without thinking, I need to heal. I need to like rush this process. Did you give yourself permission to just soak into that grief?
right. Because we talk about, it's one of those things where your vulnerability, it does kick in like crazy. Because
Hmm.
then when you're really close to someone deeply, it will lead you to that, because it's okay. And again, it is okay to cry about this, because you want to shed some tears out. There's nothing wrong with a grown man crying, or a grown lady crying, kids crying. It's okay. We all, I look at it this way too. We all have different personalities, whatnot, 9 different ways of what a person can be like. Each day,
Hmm.
every day we're not going to be happy. you know
Right.
every
But
day
people
we're not, yeah,
expect that we need to be happy or something's wrong.
right,
Because
right.
that's what the goal is. And you see these commercials, you see people going on vacations. You don't know what
Mm,
happens behind those smiles, right?
right. And at the same time with doing that, I think it's okay. I kind of like, I wouldn't say disguise. I just don't want to even think about it. So my way of looking at it, I just look at it as a positive way. I laugh about death, and that's why I got a sense of a dark humor. You know what I mean? I
Mm.
can laugh about that, because even when my dad was around, we would crack jokes and stuff like that. It's a man, son, you're way behind doing this. Yeah, if I die, just you guys got to remember me. What are we gonna remember? It's like, you know what? You're right. Nothing. We just do that. I said, son, if you give me money before you die, then I'll be happy. So
Oh,
I take that, because I learned a lot from death and the life. So it's one of those things that I love about it right now. Even before. So I'm okay though.
well, that humor helps heal. Are there, what's like maybe one lesson that you think, you know what, my dad taught me how to, or what is one thing that
Yeah,
sticks to you today?
man. I mean, there's a lot if I could say. And I still haven't learned it yet, but you probably come and hunt me down and possess me or something, choke me.
Yes.
Is that what are you
What
still
is it,
learn?
Lee?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say one for sure is that uh you have to figure out what you have to do. And also this is one of them too. I would say all in one is like, choose your friends. Don't let the friends choose you. So that's one of the things that I look at. All these years I have dealt with a lot of friendships, and they're poorly bad, but at the same time I did have fun. But you don't realize that when you share this passion with someone or groups, and then they kind of look at it like the other way, so man, that's not going to work. It ain't going to do anything. You're not going to go any further with this. And man, that's crazy, man. What you talk about, 5, 10 year plan and all this. It's like, man, the thing is, people don't want to believe it. Then those are not the friends you have. That it should be your friends to have. Those are the friends that it should be encouraging, and you should be encouraging each other. Like, man, we're gonna make it. We're gonna do this.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm. Well,
years
supportive
down,
tribe, right? Yeah.
yeah,
Lee and I are in this Ricky LaCorte's storytelling class, and we're learning
man,
so much about getting out of our comfort zone, but the
yeah.
importance of support. So are you, I love that. Don't let your, choose your friends, because if the friends choose you, you might end up on that dark path that leads you further away from your purpose or even your joy, right? Because like you said, explain that. You might have fun, but it's not, I don't know if it's the right fun or how you would describe it, but what does that look like to you? Having like, because you can have fun and sometimes you can get in trouble, but like the dark, like you don't want to go, you just picture, the road less traveled. but it's like a dark, scary forest. And then, but
Mhm.
sometimes it's more kids like that. Wow, what is that? And you get tempted because
Yeah.
it's something that is exciting, maybe. When
Right,
you're in
right.
that crossroads, Lee, what would you tell someone who's maybe 14, 15, and like, wow, that looks cool. I'll skip school and I will, I don't know, do some naughty stuff. I mean, we all, everyone goes through that, but if you get stuck there, is that what you're saying? If you get stuck there and then that becomes your life for decades instead of
Mm.
sitting there and then, because can you tell me how you were? I mean, like, I don't, how are you at 16?
Bad.
Can you elaborate? What does bad
Like
mean?
bad as in, yeah, really bad. Like I would not want to listen to anybody. And plus, I was just a screwed up kid, not listening to my parents, first of all, because there's a lot of discipline in the house, being growing up in a Polynesian house, and you don't listen. Here's one thing: you don't listen and do what you got to do in schoolwork and all that. If somebody messes up, we all get it.
I've heard
That's
that.
what
I've heard that, and it's like
that's
it's like
yes.
a physical
It
discipline, and then verbal, almost borderline like crushes your self-esteem type of thing, right? And
or
so,
yeah.
in that to me is a testimonial of it doesn't really does it inspire you? Does it
Yeah.
lift your self-esteem? I mean, and people do that. The reason why I am who I am today is because, I mean, not to disrespect anyone's opinion, but well, how did that make you feel? Were you like, okay, I'm gonna do what's right, or do you rebel? That's a very common reaction. Like, wait a minute, what did you think when that happened? Was it like
Well, see,
unfair or?
no, I mean it was fair because I did
Well, I mean,
mess
when
up.
everyone gets it though, do you think it's
No,
fair? Like, if
it's
you are naughty and then your siblings get it too, or your siblings naughty and then you get it? I mean, what is that feeling where, wait a minute, I wasn't involved in this one?
yeah, but see, from my mindset of that, being a teenager, I didn't care because it's like, yeah, if I get it, you guys got to get it.
Oh,
But that's
it's a teamwork kind of thing. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna share the pain.
and that's wrong because you'll see my brother look and my sister like, and they start crying, but what I'm
Because it's
saying
something
is,
that you did.
yeah, and it's messed up. So it is unfair, really, it is unfair. But at the time, I'm being a,
Well,
idiot,
because you
and
don't know, right? I mean, to you, it's like it's worth it. I tell some kids, and like it's worth lying because at least I have some fun until the punishment happens, and
right,
they say that it's worth the fun.
yeah. So to what you're, I'm trying. So back to your question, what
Yeah,
you
at
asked me.
16, what did
So
16 Lee look like?
So that the reason why I brought that up is because when we're in the house and discipline and all that, you get your anger and all that. Of course, you're gonna get mad. Your parents were, get beat up and all that, but
Yeah,
they do it for multiple reasons. So I get out the house, it doesn't matter who it is. If somebody's gonna say something and all this and all that, I'm gonna get in a fight.
yeah,
Because that's one of those things. Or you look at, somebody staring because back then we get a lot of stares and you stare at somebody. Those are one of those things. Like, man, what you looking at?
yeah.
So it's like,
You want
what
to
are
start
you looking
something?
at?
I'll let you.
Yeah, and it doesn't make any sense now. It's like to me now I'm older. Like he's just looking. He's just looking. Why are you spending your time staring at the person for so long, and then you go up to them and fight them? Like, what is the point of that? It's like he kept looking at me. So those are one of the things of the frustration of a little poly kid will go out and take it on somebody else. They don't even know what you're going through. You know what I mean? They have no idea why you're getting angry, why you're doing this. So I would do a lot of stupid stuff. I would just go and steal like graffiti, spray cans and go tag up on the walls and do dumb stuff, and steal whatever's in the store. So all those
Mhm.
things that led to be a troublemaker kid and hanging out with the wrong group of kids. And then as I got older after high school, I was still hanging out with some of those guys who are in the bad elements, I guess, but at the same time, like I was saying, they are still good people and all that, but
Mhm.
it's just not for me because I didn't see anything that was going to be benefit off of what we're going to do because everybody, wanted to do music and wanted to do these things like, go to events and network with people. And because I used to do a lot of you know, hanging out with, people that would go to parties, different raves and house parties, whatnot. And so we were into music. So I had a few friends that were into music and they had equipments and stuff and we would learn and all that. But the passion of it just kind of died out as we got older. So it's just like, and I'm okay with it. I'm good where I'm at. So that's one of those things why, we take our frustration, we go out there as a kid and all that, and then, we just want to be just going out wilding out, but no,
Right, right,
I
right.
learned.
Well, because
So
it's
that's why.
experience that people crave, and then, but don't you think that that's the best lesson though, to just experience it? So, lastly, so what made so you were in that, like, not really supportive friends. What made the switch? What made you say, you know what? I don't think I should be hanging it out with these people. That's a big, it's almost like a divorcing of a family, when you think
Yeah.
about it, because this is your tribe. And then you realize, I mean, what did you think? And what made you?
Well, it's one of those things because it's like I have to figure it out on my own.
Yeah,
If nobody's gonna be thinking the same thing as you're thinking, and you have plans for what you wanted to do with them, and uh, I think it just kind of made me a little bit stronger to navigate away because I knew if I stay here longer, like we mentioned earlier, and talking about this, if you stay there too long, you're probably not going to go anywhere else. You're just going to be stuck right there and then, be negative all the time and not even pursuing what you're supposed to do. But you have to move away, focus on yourself. And I try to go to school and I try to, of course, 9 to 5 and all that. I don't like work, but we have to figure out how to get money and all that. And, you know, you just have to figure out like what is your dreams and goals and what you want to pursue. And years down the line, we started doing music. I connected with Manu. Didn't know he was doing music when I was doing music after going to school, and we just connected. To seeing him at a show and he was doing his stuff, and I'm like, what is this? Seeing his name, ManuScript Records, and that's how we connected. Because
wow.
I was on loan doing independently music, as a music producer, and I was producing like different artists and all that, but I was still struggling here and there. But I didn't have that, I didn't have the same people that had the same drive. It just like we
Hmm,
fell
hmm.
apart, and it just, man, it happens, and so you just got to learn from there. Well, what is your next move? And so
I like
that's
that.
how.
Where's your next move? And then you just sit with it and then it just comes. Do you think inspiration hits when you're sitting in silence sometimes? You just go
Yeah,
within?
yeah, and yes, and no. At the same time, it's like you kind of like want to know who's out there and
Yes.
who's going to be inspired, like to for you to keep going. And that was one of them. There's like when I saw that, because I have never been to a venues where they have like different artists, and he had everybody there. But not only that, he had the passion at what I was pursuing too. So when you have people that's like a passion and that inspired to do something, not just only music, but to do something like keep going, to have
Hmm.
this longevity of your career. So
So
that's
like
what
rubs
what
off on you. Yeah, you just need to find like the right source of inspiration. I mean, you just kept looking and then it's
yeah,
isn't it funny that it just like was right there. You just like
yeah,
went to an event and then
yeah,
the rest is history because it sounds like you guys are still close even today. I mean, it's just
yeah. Yeah, even to this day, and if it wasn't for that night, and plus that was my cousin too. My other son, cousin, that they're artists and they have done some music too as well. And if it wasn't that night that she hasn't invited me to go, then I would not have connected with him, because we all know each other from Santa Ana, and we're just blessed that we saw each other. It's like, man, everybody's doing music out here, but is it everybody still gonna stay on top of it and continue? We don't know, but we're gonna work with each other and do something. So up to now we just doing films.
wasn't that amazing? So it was a blessing in disguise. I mean, at first you
Yeah,
folks were, I love that story. You guys are just
yeah,
eating. It's like a simple
yeah,
activity, and then boom, hey, you want to make a film? I mean, to me, that
yeah,
is it's like inspiration pulled out of nowhere, you know?
yeah, yeah. No, that is because one thing about what our team, especially Manu, uh, it'll always find a try, figure out ways to make something happen. Especially when you're in this business, you want to figure out like who to network with, what you're going to do with these other emails. You got to send them out. You got to talk to these people. Just start networking and figure out what you got to do the next move. That's always been the plan. What's your next move? So that's what has for us, our team. We try to encourage each other to do more. It's like we got to keep working hard. We got to do this, and there's some things that we don't understand, and we ask each other this questions. It's like, all right, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to do. That's what I love about our team. And so
Bouncing
going
ideas
ahead,
off. I love that. Went to the
yeah,
library, you looked at this, and it just shows you, I think if you focus on what's the next move, I mean,
mhm,
magic can happen. I mean, you just, this is the whole story sounds like that. Adversity, losing a lot of people in your life, and you
mhm,
just kept going. I mean, I think that's what,
yeah,
I love that. What's the next move? I think that's a really good parenting tip.
yeah,
What's the next move? Because sometimes you think
yeah,
there is nowhere to move. Oh, they're moving in the wrong direction. Or,
yeah. Oh yeah, and it does matter. It's like where you could say the next move, but it's like where are you going to go? Because if you go more this way, it might lead you to something else. You might go this way, it probably be beneficial for you. You know, so it all depends what your next move, and hopefully the move that you make is the right movement for you. And for me, and I know people would understand this, and I know you probably understand this too. Move in silence. I did,
yes,
at least in our team, because not to disrespect or anybody else, if they try to be part of the team and all that. It's always okay to collaborate, but at the same time, your team has to move in a certain way because this is the team you're dealing with. You don't want no outsiders trying to break it up or anything. Just anything. Just think about that. That's like, people need to understand that when you have a strong team, keep it strong, keep your circle together and stay focused and stay active and stay inspired. So that way you can see the longevity of yourself being great.
that is powerful.
Right.
That's a powerful
Yeah.
secret right there because I think people sometimes keep searching and searching and searching. And then they maybe, I mean, like you said, sometimes it's okay to separate, but sometimes if you have that powerful team like you folks have, I mean, who knows? I can't wait to see what your next anything. In closing, what is your
Oh,
next like what is something that you can share? Maybe not all the details, but just that spark of what's your next
oh,
move, Lee? What is it?
we there definitely is going to be, and for sure it's going to be a next big move. Uh, we we did explain to a lot of people out there. We have a duffel bag of scripts, so
A duffel
uh,
bag. It's not just one.
not just one, not just two, three. We have
Oh my
multiple
gosh. So
scripts
you
in the
guys have
duffel
just been
bag.
writing and writing and writing?
So ever since, like I was saying, like that day we started writing, even besides Sosefina, that was our first baby. We continue from that day writing scripts. So Lenny was writing scripts, I was writing scripts, Manu was writing scripts, and we were talking, so many people out there. And, of course, you're going to get a lot of no's. So it's okay. That's part of the learning experience. You're definitely going to get that because the reason why I say this is because you don't have a product yet. You don't have your credentials and all that. You gotta think about that because a lot of people don't know in the business, in the film game, the filmmaking game, it's like it is difficult because people are going to shut you out. Like, well, if you don't have this, I don't see this and that, which is fine. You have to learn uh things, before you get out there to the big dogs out there, in the big industry, they're really shut you out, man. It's like, nah, that's not going to work. You don't have this kind of money for this budget and, all the good stuff. But yeah, we definitely have a duffel bag of scripts. So if anybody out there want to invest and help us out, we're definitely going to give you something
Well,
that's
that's the next move too,
good
right?
stuff.
Finding the right
Mhm.
investors because, like you said, look what you've done though. So Safina pretty much came out of, I mean, library and just you folks sitting in silence, eating your food, and then who would have known in 3 days? That is so just testimonial that anything can happen if you make the right next move.
Yeah, that's it. And just hopefully that when you make that move, hopefully everything works out for them, for them. And then you just keep it going. And that's what we want to do. We want to make that change because, we see a lot of potential with the young Polynesians and the rest of the South Pacific and, in general to the world too. Wherever we come about, just like, anybody want to network, anybody want to do stuff, we're open doors to it, There's be more open opportunities too as well. It's just for us, we want to get to that door to open so we can have the rest behind us to pull them in. I said, all right, you guys, these are very talented kids right here. They can write, they can act, they can direct, they can produce. They got all that. Even the extras right behind them with them too. Hey, make a movie, make a TV series, whatever, documentaries, anything, you know what I mean? There's a lot of
Wow.
potentially out there. That's what I'm looking for to once we get
So
that bag.
inspirational. Yeah. And I love how if doors close, you just keep going. You don't allow anyone to squash your dreams because you know that, like you said, you're not, you might not have the backing, you might not have this and this and this, but you have that determination, that perseverance where you're going to just keep going, keep going. So a door will eventually open. You hear that sometimes it's like someone said something and how long did it take? And they're like, oh, it's the 607th time. And they said, what?
Yeah,
How
yeah.
did you, how did you, I mean, most people after 100 or after 10, they're like, I just kept going. And it's amazing. I mean, that's truly perseverance. And I see it in you, Lii, because I mean, 3 days and just suddenly, even with adversity in your life.
Yeah, yeah. It's just if I look at it this way, if somebody else is doing something and they can do it, I can do it. It's that saying. I know it sounds cliche, right? But it's true.
It
This
is
is
true.
100% facts. You can do it with no knowledge of schools of going filming or anything. Whatever the occupation that you're pursuing, anybody can do it if you just put your mind and your heart in it, and stay consistent on it. That's one of those things that you have to keep up and stay with it. Once you do that, you understand the game and you understand that you're capable of doing a lot of these opportunities. And plus, you want to pass down that opportunities and the knowledge down to the next. Because I definitely, see that there's a lot of potential, upcoming writers and actors, producers and directors as well, our people. And I want to pass that torch down. And I said this multiple times. I would love to pass it down to them because, we do want to see them coming up. And there's not a lot of us out there that's on the screen.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So of course, you got the big brother, The Rock and Jason Momoa and all that. It's a big inspiration to see that, and we want to see more. I know there's a lot of out there. There is upcoming actors and they're doing pretty well for themselves. Well, we're just not seeing a lot more coming in and on the screen. We want to see that. A
Well, I think
lot of
that's your
people should see
passion.
that.
I think that's your passion and your purpose. I look forward to seeing like a lot of exciting things. Hopefully, we can
Yeah.
do a part two when your next venture is
Yeah.
launched with your next premiere. But thank you so much. This was an amazing way to start my Friday. I really appreciate it. Lee and I have the final class on Monday with Ricky
Yeah.
LaCorte.
Yeah, I know. Looking forward for that. I can't wait to hear everybody's speech. Most
Yes, well, it'll be exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time.
yeah, I know. It'll be fun though. It's okay.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. I look forward to connecting with Hinano, who is part of Sosefina. And yeah,
Yeah.
I should get in touch with you later and find out a few of the other key people because I would love to interview and pick your guys' brains to find out like this is true inspiration that I think can inspire parents. Because if
Yeah,
your dad,
yeah.
would your dad have known who you would
Yeah.
be today if he looked
Yeah.
at your 16-year-old self?
He'll still say, he said, you're not doing anything. You're okay. It's like, at least they probably feel sorry for you. That's what I'd probably say. It's like, but good job, son. You're doing okay. He didn't
Good
know it.
job, son. That's what you hold on to.
Well, he did say that because he did see the process of everything we're doing. He did know he saw us going to New Zealand and all that, trying to share our premiere, our movie to the premiere and all that. So he was aware with it, with all of us doing this. And fortunately, at this time, he didn't get to see the movie, but
But
he
he
did
saw
get
the
to,
process and he's
yeah,
seeing
he
the
saw the
movie
process.
up there in heaven going, wow, look at what Miley is doing.
I
So
hope so.
inspirational.
So yeah, but
Well, thank you, and you enjoy the rest of your day. Let's keep in
yeah.
touch.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
very much, Karen,
Take
for having me.
care.
Thank
Okay.
you. You too.
Bye.